New York, Wall Street, we have a problem. Do we ever? Cramer just came out in the latest edition of the New Yorker magazine, and when he was asked, what his predictions were for the market and all that stuff, I guess he threw his hands up in the air and reached for his sound effects console and couldn't find it. But it would be a big car crash or a plane crash or some disastrous sound effect anyway, had he had that device with him. But basically he said, this time is different. It's doom itself. In 25 years on Wall Street, I've never seen things this bad. He was a hedge fund manager. His average return rate was about 24% for 15 years at Cramer Berkowitz. Pretty good track record, nonetheless. His investment advice, in the article here it says, is always very specific. He also has clear opinions on what he sees over the short term. But right now, he's saying sell everything. Nothing's working. Revisit when the prices are adjusted for a big recession, soaring inflation, and a crushed consumer. Explain that one to the crushed consumer. Sell at 12,000 and come back at 10,000. Even better, short it. All right. So if you go to short the market right now and there's a mini bull run, let's say around the peak retail times a year, like November, December for Christmas and whatnot, you're going to panic because these stocks are going to go up. They just will. In the meantime, it could be a dead cat bounce, and you might see 9,000 or 9,600 on the Dow thereafter. It reminds me of, and I hate to use Trekkie-isms here, but an episode of Star Trek, the original Star Trek, the good Star Trek, where Captain Kirk was on this planet, and this infamous villain by the name of Harry Mudd programmed his robot to not believe a word Captain Kirk says, not believe a damn word. And so Captain Kirk says, "Listen closely, I'm lying." Then, the self-destruct sequence of the robot comes into play, and next thing you know, Captain Kirk wins the day again in the galaxy. So, as of late, Cramer he's been in another solar system. He's an eternal optimist of his own picks, of course, but usually, they're kind of late on the trend, and right around peak time, that's when he's touting these stocks, and next thing you know, down they go. So your best bet, in my opinion, I'm no professional or anything like that, but from my experience, go with your gut. You go with your gut, you can't go wrong. And don't bet more than you have. When he says short the market, that could be setting you up for a painful experience. Hard lesson learned indeed. And if that market does rebound, which keep in mind now the elections in November, if the right person gets in, there could be a lot of optimism on Wall Street and worldwide. As long as Bush is gone, anything could happen. If Clinton got in, you might see a rebound. If Obama gets in, you might see a rebound. And if McCain gets in, you might just see, a lull. Everything basically status quo. So I wouldn't do anything on Cramer's advice right now because basically he's been saying, it's up when it's down. And now he's saying it's down. And for you to get out and protect your assets. Is he lying or isn't he? I don't think he's lying. I think his handlers have given him some bad data, at least. And, the whole truth movement right now in the markets and in politics and everything are just blasting the doors open on everything. And these guys who had control of these markets, these hedge funds or sledge funds, as I like to call them, they don't even know how they're going to get out of this mess. They are in quite a mess. In the meantime, the lesson learned from Captain Kirk might be a good one. Everybody else these days seems to be using quotes from the Matrix, but good old Captain Kirk, I think he's the man of the future. Anyways, keep your chin up and don't do anything you don't want to do, and don't take Cramer's advice for anything. If you feel like shorting the market, you pick a distance you want to run, and you run it. And when you hit your finish line, you get the hell out. Don't try to squeeze the market for any more than you think you can get, because bets go bad very easily nowadays. If I had to give anyone any advice right now, check out a guy here on YouTube, Don Harold. You can go to donharold.net. This guy is brilliant, and he's your average Joe. He's doing well with his picks, and he posts his results wide open. He's even got a piece of software now that seems to predict things much the same way he does, but I prefer to bet on his picks over Cramer's or anybody else's, I gotta say. He's been brilliant, but even he could possibly be wrong, and he admits it. And that's why you bet small and you bet wide, and you don't overexpose yourself to any given sector. And if you see a major in there, Coca-Cola having a hard time or something like that, there could be something else going on behind the scenes, whereas before it would be a sure bet when it's low. God only knows where they've been investing their capital. So be wise. Cash is king as always. And if you have funds in your accounts, and I know most of us don't, but if you have funds over $100,000 in any given account, I'd take out the difference and I'd spread it out amongst banks, because the FDIC usually covers up to $100,000. That's it. So protect your own assets. Take care.